right now. The world's in a different place, and the more fucked up the world is, the more chaotic it is, the better it is for us. Getting money from a bank is like taking candy from a baby. Right now, we are almost 100% better results than pre-corona. The only good luck I've ever had in my life, other than our children and my lovely wife, is corona. The only good thing that's ever fucking happened to me is COVID-19. That's it. It's a shitty thing to say, but it's the truth. It's so fucking easy to make money now, even 1 or 2 or 3 of you retards will. It's that easy. Oh, by the way, and it's easier for women. Shouldn't be. It's not fair, but it is easier for women. And if you happen to be a good-looking woman, it's even easier. And if you're a slut, it's even fucking easier. And if I were a woman, I'd live on my fucking back with my legs up in the air, and I'd be a gazillionaire. Having said that, got that off my chest. And if you're big and tall, it's easier. If you're a dwarf, it's harder. If you're a skinny little dwarf, it's harder. And if you're ugly, it's fucking hard, but not impossible. As our daughter would say, Daddy treats everybody the same, like shit. But you gotta be hard. And if you're not hard, kids, 1, you're not gonna be able to put your board together. 2, you're not gonna be able to get accountants and lawyers. 3, you may get a deal ultimately done, and then they're gonna take it away from you. You'll wish that you had gotten pummeled in the schoolyard by somebody like me when that happens to you. You'll wish that your dad had beat the shit out of you, like me. Some of the things that you thought you could relate to Steve or Andrew Carnegie or Henry Ford, fucking delusional. You have none of their traits. 0. You've never met anybody other than me that's got any of their traits. And that's including all the gurus. I eat the other gurus for breakfast. Success leaves clues. This is the real world. Somebody asked me, how can you stand in front of them, take their money, and know they're all gonna die, metaphorically speaking? It was hard 25 years ago. It's not hard now. You're gonna hear Thomas, my current poster boy, beat your fucking ass later in the week. Look in front of you, look behind you, look to the left, look to the right, they're all gonna fail. Remember yesterday I said the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Do the characteristics of Steve Jobs and the various guys. And I said, you in your fucking life, if you live to be 1,000, will never have any of my characteristics to make a lot of money. But you've already forgotten that. If this was easy peasy, like my daughter said 20 years ago, there'd be $100 trillion I would have produced. But you'll figure out a reason not to do it. And almost always, it's your family. Not always, but almost always, it's your family, directly or indirectly. Okay? Risk reward. Now I put your little shit kid, that little daughter of his again, I'm a douse her with gasoline. He'd get his fat ass across the best he could or die trying. I put your wife, the slag slut you fucking the ass every night, across there. Fuck her. Burn the bitch. There are some things you're willing to, remember that I said there's some things you're worth to go to jail for, there's some things that are worth dying for. The slag you fucking the ass every other night is not one of those things. There's a paid price to action that you still don't understand. But if you leave here in a few days and don't understand, you're doomed. There's no turning back. In here talking shit doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You haven't been honest with yourself your whole life. So why are you gonna start this week? Who are you kidding? And if you take your results, everybody in this room is fucked. Even the 2 or 3 of you got a few pennies. I pointed to the young girl, but she's not gonna be me in 1,000 million years. Not gonna happen. Sleepyhead back here is not gonna be Blondie who thinks she's tougher than everybody else. In 1,000 million years, you're not me. And she said, and funny enough, they work. I don't think it's so fucking funny, you French slag. But if you're not tough, the templates will not work if you sound like a cunt. They will not work unless you say them 500 times or something. Remember, you're only 2,000 cold calls away from your first deal. A cold call is you talk to somebody that can make a motherfucking decision, not some rag, crack administrative assistant. That's not a cold call. We have kids making 300 cold calls a day. 300 a day. And you heard the pig fucker, the Belfast pig fucker. A week and a half to get the chairman, remember? And then 1 cold call for each one and close them. CEO 1 cold call, CFO 1 cold call. By now his dick's like this. I mean, the desk, he's lifting the fucking desk up from a hard on. He's the man. And everybody, bam, bam, bam. And that's how you do it. I don't want to make this sound like religion, but some of you believe in some kind of shit, right? I don't give a fuck what it is. You can believe in the dollar, Bitcoin, I don't give a fuck. Bitcoin, okay? But you gotta have faith because, the Bitcoin God hasn't come down and touched you on the forehead. You gotta believe, and the guys that believe do the best. And when you saw the Belfast pig fucker, He has swallowed the Kool-Aid. And guess what? He's performed. Why do you pay me money when you know how I am? It's not a secret, is it? But why? When there's no chance in this world that this little bitch is ever gonna have any of my traits whatsoever. Not in her fucking lifetime if she lives to be a goddamn 1,000. Some would say hope springs eternal. Everybody know what that means? You know, if you wish and you hope enough, maybe it'll happen. And you can't give up. And it's so easy to give up because you get tired of getting pounded. One of the questions that will be asked before the seminar is over is, when is too soon to call back? In other words, follow up. The guy says, call me back in 5 days. I call him back in 5 hours. Oh, I misunderstood. I remember the 5. You keep calling back until they slam the phone down on you, until they block your number. That's how many fucking times you call them. And you never take no for an answer. Never. No is when they change their number or stop your call. They left my office either in a fucking stretcher, crying, sobbing, but they bought. I'm called the Hammer. That hatchet up there and the hammer below it are my sales methodology, which is so antithesis of today's world, but it's still successful. Because I don't care if they like me. I'm there to make a motherfucking sale today. And I'm still very successful. I can sell better than any of my mentees, any of them. And I got some world-class sales guys. But at the end of the day, down deep inside, because they're only 35 or 40 years old, there's some fabric of their being that still wants to be liked. And that's a weakness. That's a fucking weakness. Because I don't suffer from the diseases of empathy or sympathy. That's a fucking weakness. You give me a guy or a gal that has a shade of wanting to be liked, just a shade of wanting to be a pleaser, and I own them. I own them. I eat them for fucking breakfast. Britain, gunboat diplomacy, right? It still works. But I know gals just as tough as I am and talk worse than I do. We're a kindred spirit because there's not many of us left. But you gotta want it, guys. I keep saying, none of you want to be like Steve Jobs. A lot of the flavor of the day is Elon Musk right now. If you knew what I knew about Elon, you wouldn't want to be him either. You've always got a reason. Even though Elon, every third word is fuck. Even though he's hard on his employees. Jeff is hard on his employees. Jack Ma was hard on his employees till he pissed off the Chinese government. Now he's not the head of whatever the fuck it was. Ali Fucka. You don't want to make that much of a sacrifice to be an asshole. Now see, I don't consider it a sacrifice. You're not willing to take and go the extra mile. It's a cheap cliche, but you're not willing to go the extra mile. Or you're not gonna get any richer than you are, which there's only a couple of you got any money at all. And you should pray to whoever, if you pray to anybody, that you turn into the next Steve Jobs, a ruthless son of a bitch that'll tear the eyes out of a blind man just because it was fun. Otherwise, you're gonna fail. I can't make it any clearer. I didn't want to waste time during Corona. It's all shit. Most of you have been engaged in self-sabotage all your fucking lives. You don't know any better. Why do women that get abused, beaten up, go from one guy that beats them up to the next guy that beats them up to the next guy that beats them up? Conditioning, and it's in their DNA because their mom got beat up. Why is it so difficult to break the circle of poverty? Conditioning. Why do rich people want their kids to go to school with rich people? Because richness rubs off. Your relatives, you got relatives on the board, throw them under the bus. You got sons, daughters on the board, throw them under the bus. You got sons, daughters, employees, throw them under the bus. If you even know them by accident because you met them at a wedding, throw them under the bus. Because familiarity breeds contempt. You're just numbers to me. I can put a cap in your ass and I won't lose an iota of sleep. If prayer got it done, why are there 4 billion people that are dirt fucking poor in the world that all pray, that are devout something? Devout Muslim, devout Catholic, why, right? If prayer got the motherfucker done, who are the ones that pray? I said it yesterday, mostly poor people. When I came into, and I gave a talk a couple years ago to the University of Kentucky, a rugby team. They were back-to-back national champs. And I'm screaming and yelling at them, and they wanted a three-peat. They wanted a third. So who do they bring me? I'm jumping, screaming, jumping up and choking them. They came from behind and won for the Gipper, me. When you want something done, you give it to me. Because when I tell you I'm gonna get it fucking done, I get it done. Come hell or high water. And that's what they have to see in you and your board. You've got to show that leadership or you're gonna fucking fail. It's not politically correct to scream at people like I do. And in fact, it was a Polish kid, now that I think about it, who said, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we don't tell you, it's not in the report. There's not a question for it. I hadn't really thought about that. And so we changed the report. This is about 3 years ago. What am I not telling them? It's like raising kids. Unless you ask the kid the exact right question, they don't think they're lying to you. So if you lie to yourself, and most of us do, myself included, we bullshit ourselves just like also ran. Because we gotta make ourselves feel better. We can't be the biggest putz on the planet. And so we bullshit ourselves. Just like our kids. For those of you that have kids, almost everybody's kid in this room is worthless. I can give you a list, how you should judge your kids. They're all worthless. You want to go to Oxford. You want to go to Harvard. You want to go to MIT. You want to be a top 1% scholar. They're worthless. But you bullshitted yourself into believing, just as your parents bullshitted themselves into believing that you were worth a shit. And that's life. Our kids used to say, but Johnny does it. I don't give a fuck what Johnny does. You gotta get straight A's. You got a letter in 4 sports. You got to be able to run a mile when you're 9 years old in less than 5 minutes. Because you bullshit. Because the standards are so fucking low now. They're just low. How you can come up with that fucking rationale? It's because you're missing more than just the DNA. You're missing, some brain cells. Now, some of you are so fucking stupid, but that's what you will use for an excuse. Because when you don't make QLA work, is you will not admit to yourself, it's that you can't make it work because you're retarded. And I mean nothing against people that are really retarded. That's not what I mean. You're brain dead. One of the kids, the last kid I talked to, he didn't say it this way, he wanted a get rich quick scheme. He didn't use those words, but we've all seen them on YouTube at get rich quick, right? Well, you came to the wrong motherfucker place because this is not the get rich quick scheme. If you do everything absolutely correct, like Josh Kim did, you can become a multimillionaire in 30 months. If you do everything kind of mediocre, you can get rich in about 5.5 years. And if you do everything like you're retarded, like you're Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you can get everything done in about 7 years. Because most of you, just as you got married for the wrong reason, just as most of you are with a partner for the wrong reason, most of you came here for the wrong reason. There's a reason why certain people are poor, and poorness rubs off. I can tell by standing up here. I mean, I've been doing this a long fucking time, and I'm very good at it. I can smell death, and I smell it in this fucking room. When I walk into a business that I buy, I can go by the cubicles, and I can tell who to fire just by taking a deep breath when I pass their computer. And if you shut your computer off, you're fired right on the spot. Why would you shut your computer off when the new chairman walked by your cubicle? There's no good reason. None. Zero. They're all thieves. And why would I be so capricious and say, you're fired? Because I've been doing this 1,000,000 years, and I've passed 1,000,000 cubicles. And I know never once, when I followed up to see what the last page was on the computer, was there anything about business. And maybe I've been wrong one time in 10,000. So what? This is serious shit. And the irony of this, I used to do it for fucking free. I don't want to believe I was a goody two-shoes. I don't, please God, no. But I did it for free. I did it at junior high school, grammar school, in East LA. I did it at airports. What a fool I was. But I'm at the other end of that fucking continuum now. I was hard trying to be soft, something I wasn't. Now I'm hard because I am hard. There's an article in the Guardian newspaper today about Elon Musk is a dick. But the person that wrote the article, and so what? He's done this, but he's a dick. He screams at his employees, he makes them cry. His famous saying is, I could be lying on a beach in Central America or near Tahiti with naked girls sitting on my face, and instead I'm here with you cocksuckers at 3 o'clock in the morning, because you can't do your job. You're not gonna be Elon Musk either. And I'm not suggesting you hit your employees with cricket bats. I'm not suggesting any of that, but let's get fucking real. Our first offer is an embarrassing offer. You want to piss the other side off, and you're afraid because your funnel of potential acquisition candidates is so small, you're afraid that he's going to run or she's going to run away. It's like the Egyptian rug peddler. It took us 9,000 years, and there's 40 million stitches in this magic carpet, and okay? And we went to 800,000 euros. I'll give you $50. Take it or leave it. 50. Did you say 500? I say 50, and I start walking away. When Sally and I were in Egypt during the riots and the shooting people in the streets and all that shit, we're at the Valley of the Kings. Sally stops at every fucking booth, and they haven't made a sale in 9 weeks, these guys, because they've been cordoned off. We had security guards. This is a God show, fighting the people off. Because Sally with her blonde hair and her diamonds and everything. I said, $50. By the time we got to the armed bus, $80. 800,000 to 80. He said, you're killing me, you're killing me. The world's the opposite of that now. Now little girls kill themselves on Facebook because somebody said something not nice to them. What's happened? If that happened to one of my kids, I would go straight to the guy's house. I would kill that kid. I would kill all the siblings, and I would kill the parents and grandparents and the fucking goldfish. I would eradicate them from the world. And yes, I'd go to jail for life. What did I say? There are some things worth going to fucking jail for. I would eradicate them from life. I'm not recommending or suggesting you do any of that. I'm just telling you what I would do. Next year, I'm going to Panama, and I'm going to perform brain surgery for real. I get a temporary license. We've got 3 volunteers. We're paying them. If they die, money goes to their families. I'm positive by the 3rd brain surgery, they'll be successful. No medical school, no fucking nothing, no training, no nothing. Just looking at YouTube. But you can't even watch my YouTube. You still fuck it up, don't you? Well, you went too far with the scalpel, then you gotta clamp it off. I can't wait. I mean, almost as excited as when I was gonna do the exorcism. That's what I do to get out of my comfort zone. What the fuck do you tubs of shit do? And I'm still trying to get out of my comfort zone. And you do dick, nothing, fuck all. There's one fucking moving part. Why is it so hard? I know it's hard because it's the only thing that you ever looked at that had one thing, you guys, was your little pee-pee, and you haven't been able to stick it in anybody. And that's exactly how they think, gals. I'm afraid of one moving part, because so far, my one moving part hasn't done shit. I can't make it any more vulgar. That's it. If you've been laid 45,000 times like me, you know that one moving part, it's got a mind of its own. I can't make it any more graphic. As Brian QLA Rose says, when Peña goes, there's gonna be a black hole in the earth. And the earth is gonna implode on itself when I go. But I'm not going any fucking time soon. My death date is August the 10th when I'm 120 years old. On its surface, you may think you don't need to know the why, but they're trained differently. If you're an engineer, you're trained differently. You're more fucked. And if you have multiple degrees in engineering, you're just even more fucked. If you're a mathematician, you're fucked. If you have a PhD in math, which we had here a year or two ago, you're super fucked. Because there is no formula E equals MC squared for QLA. There's no answer. It's just a big fucking question mark. The greatest tennis coach in the history of the world who can't play tennis. And all you want to know is why? He can't play fucking tennis. And you want to know, do I need to know anything about healthcare? You fucking trash. Trash. You didn't deserve to be born. You should have rolled down your fucking mama's fat thigh. Why do pregnant women gain 80, 90, 100 pounds? Because they're pigs. And for the first time in their life, well, I can eat anything I want because I'm eating for 2. What a load of shit. You came from pigs, you can only be a pig. On that happy note, go fuck yourself, YouTube.